physical reality. So one is bound to be a mirror of the other because they're expressions of each other. Just like what's on the screen in a movie theater mirrors what's being projected from the back of the room. And so we are now beginning to understand more and more about this. And as we understand more, we understand how it's possible for a network of families to manipulate literally billions of people. And if you can manipulate and program the way that we perceive reality, then you will massively influence how we decode reality to what we say is a physical experience. I mean, you look in a hypnotist stage show. What are the hypnotists doing? They're implanting a sense of reality, and that makes that person, that stooge on the stage, decode reality to fit that program. So someone will be programmed to believe the person next to them is naked. They'll think they're naked. They're not. But their perception is, because that's how they're decoding reality, because they've been implanted with that sense of reality, it becomes their experienced reality, and so on. And this is being done to the human population 24/7.
And then do you think that the whole internet is part of this plan?
Everything is two-edged. When you manipulate people through the media, through microphones and cameras, it's not the microphone or the camera that is manipulating. That's not good or bad. That just is.
Yes.
It's the way they're being used. I mean, you're using your microphone tonight, or today, rather, in a very, very different way to someone who's now presenting currently on Fox News. So it's not the means that is the problem. That's good. The more we have the ability to communicate with each other, the better. It's what is communicated. And the Internet, on one level, has been a great boon. I mean, it was founded on military technology, of course. They're not going to give military technology away unless there's something in it for them. And what's in it for them is the ability, much easier ability, to follow people's movements on the web, see what websites they go to, follow email communications, etc. The downside for them is that some great people have taken this opportunity to communicate information that would never have got out there normally.
They've had to
take that downside with the good side, and what they're now trying to do, Patrick, as you know, is they're trying to create excuses to censor the downside.
Do you think they were smart enough, clever enough, or a big enough vision, David Icke, to really make a calculated decision on the Internet, or was this something that just a Pandora's box that popped open and took them by surprise? What do you think?
Well, I think there's a large part of the latter is correct, because I think that a genie was let out of the box, and they didn't quite realize how big a genie it was in terms of communicating information. But of course, you can communicate disinformation as well.
Sure,
you can communicate lies as well. So there are many ways in which the Internet is a very, very good thing for the control system. But there is a big downside, and that's communicating information that's exposing the control system. And that's why they're trying to find more and more reasons, like this guy Jay Rockefeller's at the forefront of that in America, to find reasons to censor the Internet. And we must not allow that to happen.
We're going to get to your calls and emails. For those on hold, stay there right after a short break in a few minutes with David Icke, author, lecturer, visionary in a geopolitics, spirituality, asking the questions for 20 years of who we are, why we're here, where are we going, and what this is all about. My name is Patrick Timpone, and this is One Radio Network. Before a short break, David Icke, I want to ask you about this idea, because of course, with the Internet, there's so many different stories that go flying around. Well, this is going to happen in martial law and codex and blah, 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 blah. And give us your ideas of what is the depth of, do you think that our listeners should even look at this stuff? I mean, if we give it interest, and if we give it space, and if we give it mind share into our minds of this or this terrible thing is going to happen, well, does it not just give it more energy? And what's the difference between that and just deleting the file and just, dissing it like it's never going to happen? You know what I'm saying? That balance here. Give us your ideas on that.
Well, it is a balance. I mean, you can put your head in the sand and hide the fact that a tornado is coming, but it's still coming. And if you lift your head from the sand and face the tornado, you can take avoiding action. But if you don't, then, your head's in the sand and ignorance is bliss, but only for a while, but the tornado's still coming and your bum is still sticking in the air. And you can't take avoiding action because you're not looking at it. So I take your point, I do, and it's very important that this is what I do, and I'm not frightened of this stuff. I'm not. I'm infinite consciousness. David likes my experience, so what is there to fear? But the thing is that we need to look at this and be aware of things, and then we're streetwise, and it gives us more power to do something about it. But it's very important that we don't freeze because of fear of what all this is coming and it can't be stopped. Well, it can be stopped. Crikey. There's about 7 billion people on this planet, and the number of people in full knowledge who are manipulating this agenda is a relative handful at the center of the web or the peak of the pyramid, however you want to symbolize it. And we just need to wake up, and there's a tremendous amount about this in the new book. We just need to wake up and take our power back and realize what our power is. You see, if you can keep from people their true nature, then you can get people to not take their power back because they don't realize they've got any power to take back. And, we as a human race are operating on a tiny, tiny, infinite fraction of our infinite potential. And, when you see people like what they call autistic savants. There's an example of examples all over the world, but we've got one in this country. A guy called Stephen Wilshire, who in 1987, at the age of about 12, he was taken in a helicopter over London by the BBC for a documentary for half an hour. This guy, Stephen Wiltshire, because of his autism, couldn't even count. He came down from the helicopter after half an hour and proceeded to draw in great detail, including getting all the numbers of the windows right, about 200 buildings across central London. And why? Because something had happened in his brain that had released the program, particularly in the left brain. That's where the program really is. And he'd opened himself to right brain reality. Now, most people live in the left brain. They very rarely go into the right brain, which is the creative, the infinite potential. They stay in the left brain, which is structure and language and the world that we perceive it, everything apart from everything else, physicality, everything solid and all the rest of it. And that, when you look at it, Patrick, is how society is structured to make us. The education system is all about left brain. Left brain can see only limitation because it can't see connections, it can't see infinite potential, it can only see limitation. When you look at the way the education system produces people who go through the schools and through the colleges and into the universities, and the more you are stuck in left brain and you take left brain information and then regurgitate it out on a left brain exam paper, the more you progress within the system. And through that educational, quote, success, you then go on to specialize in sciences, in medicine, you go into politics maybe, and all these other different areas of the system. And so left brain dominated people are the ones that are in the positions of influence and power throughout the system. Right brain people who are the mavericks, they are the ad-libbers, the spontaneous. They're perceived to be as being failures, and no, get rid of them. And so when you access this right brain reality, which is the way we access infinite potential out of the five sense arena, even indeed outside this reality, then you start to access levels of possibility which are staggering, called miraculous by the left brain because it doesn't understand. And this is what is happening with so many of these people who have problems in the left brain. The right brain then becomes the dominating influence of reality instead of the left, and bingo, they start to access these incredible,